So I'm like, all right, well, I got like 10,000 things on your list before you have your shot. Then he started having a lot more pain. I'm like, well.
Does he have a brace?
Just be aware of their legs.
Thank you.
I wasn't there reading that snow.
If we had staff.
So you can pull it off.
It did, well, it did rain hard for a long time.
So it's like, oh, I need rain. Oh, but not that much rain.
Or electric storms. All of those are.
Well, we always have to worry about our
Except for,
Because it rolls down in my lower field.
realizing that his song
You know what, farmers are never happy. Like, oh, I need some rain. Oh, God, how much?
No, I wasn't.
Flooding.
So instead of with water, so I was calling Dr. Love.
You probably have the same kind of stuff.
I was
Starting the encoder. Oh, it kind of sucks when you don't know the art.
And so, like, we're way better off.
it was like
Rowdy,
5
like, the pumpkins are pretty
but
well.
you've got to be like, you know, you can put it regulatory, just like power cord, so I make sure I knew where all that was.
Did you let Vince know?
Can't pick.
It wasn't about the board.
And you have not said.
Position, or is going to that. Oh,
Yeah, please let him know.
That's what was hard.
And then maybe send another message that we're back on.
You get one step.
They're welcome to stay in Google Meet, but.
Anybody on
I'm
Google,
ready.
you can tell. Our
Whatever
mics
you,
are on.
when you can create.
When I come back on
your
here?
24 hours in a week.
No, when we get
Then we
back
can
to
start.
I'll do it then, because it's more official.
Then we can figure out a time to practice.
That comes after 57 or something like that.
Right, exactly. I know.
How many are on Google Meet?
Right now, we have 28 on Google Meet. 29.
Okay, let's plug this back in. I think it's gonna pop, so just don't trip. Okay.
You can use mine.
No, I like to stare at my own.
High school.
I can't see that.
So basically, the meat got frozen when you turned around and we'll ask you to repeat it. That's when it got frozen in the street.
Good.
So it was before that, was before the vote.
Okay.
So basically, she'll broke it.
For the first whole motion. Great. I'll just hear it. I can't remember what happened. Sounds like a bad movie. No, I think he's
2
gonna
minutes.
back up.
We're back up. Okay. We're still live on Google, and he's got us back on YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube is back.
Oh, sure.
Oh, don't tell me.
It's like the worst thing I do when I get home.
It was 5-2. I voted no, and Chrissy, you voted no?
Yes.
On that last vote. I'm gonna try to repeat that.
Motions or second round of motions made.
No, so
we
we're
gotta go
fresh.
back. Somebody's gotta do
Yes.
something.
No, we have to make new motions.
You have to vote on
They
that
don't get a
motion.
second.
You have to vote on it.
We have to vote on
You
the
have a
first.
motion and a second.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
have to
we have to
vote on
vote
that
on the
motion.
first motion, actually, not amend it.
It
Amendment
wasn't, they
failed.
tried to amend it, didn't have the chance to vote on that initial motion.
Okay, let's make sure we're all clear on what we're voting on.
Yes.
Okay,
We
so
will.
I
No,
can
no, no.
restate
We're
it.
gonna-
I wanna make sure that I understand.
Yes, completely.
Okay.
One more minute.
We want state record. Start everybody. What you were saying? You class 98.
Told him 5 times.
Yes, I'm class of 98.
So we're going off.
My,
I have a
years off.
I have a meeting at 8 with Mike, because I'm like, we can probably just stay and have this meeting,
Yeah.
but how do we get through with this? I had jokingly suggested we take that to.
I look like 86.
You about college or high school?
What's that?
High school or college?
I graduated in high school in 1990.
All right, so we're coming back. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Guys ready? Ready? Okay, we're gonna come back. So everyone who's on Google Meet, you're welcome to stay on Google Meet. But we got the YouTube working again. We got YouTube streaming working again. So you're welcome to go back to YouTube and watch if you don't want to stay on Google Meet. Anyone who else is out there, join however you'd like. Apparently we froze right at the end of that first motion we made, so we'll try to reiterate what we talked about while we were frozen, so those who were not seeing that public feed can see that public feed or hear the public feed. So we'll reread the motion and I'll tell you how everybody voted. So the motion was,
Motion would prefer the fire to mandate masks for grades 4K to 5 for students and staff, with the exception for medical and religious reasons recommended.
and then Julie voted yes, Barb voted yes, Terry voted yes, Angie voted yes, Bill voted yes, Christie voted no, and Adam voted no. So it passed 5-2. Now we have a new motion that was made. We'll read that motion so you can all hear that.
Motion McKern, McMorris, to have masks highly recommended but not required for middle and high school.
And then the discussion was about whether 6th grade should be included in that or not, and something else was added, but that was shot down. So this current motion stands and we need to vote on it, unless there's any more discussion. Is there any more discussion?
Will we still discuss 6th grade then?
No, it's part of this motion. So if you want to discuss this 6th grade, you would shoot the
So,
no on
so
this.
if this motion does not pass,
Then you can do whatever you want.
then, right. But
New
if it
motion.
passes, we can't make another motion about it. But if it doesn't pass, then somebody can make a motion that addresses the 6th grade differently.
So right now, it's 6th grade through 12th grade,
It's all middle school, all high school.
all middle, all high school. Any more discussion? Just want to make sure everybody has a chance. Angie,
No.
Terry,
No.
Barb,
No.
Bill,
No,
Julie,
you have to vote yes, you made it
you don't
positive.
vote whatever you want, you don't have to vote yes.
Stop telling me how to vote.
Sorry.
You're right.
I'm gonna vote no.
And then Christie
Yes.
and Adam, I said no. Did I get everybody?
Yes.
Just trying to mix it up, sorry.
Now we can make a new motion.
Now we can make a new
No,
motion.
what was the vote? We need an official vote tally.
It failed 6-1.
Okay, 6-1, there we go. Now, it's open to make, anybody can make a motion.
I'll make a motion that, I'll make a new motion that 7th through 12th grade will be highly recommended to wear masks but not required. And 6th grade will be required to wear masks until a vaccine is available to them, to that age group.
I'll second.
Motion by Julie and a second by Angie. Is there any further discussion on this motion?
I'm struggling with having masks optional at any level just because of the whole quarantine issue. I feel like we're just gonna have too many kids in and out of school.
Can I get a clarification on
Yes,
what
please.
you mean by when they become eligible? Like, are you
Should
talking
it
about
be,
their age? Are you talking like individual students, or when? I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
We're the ones who have
It's
to implement it, so.
Makes that a tough motion to vote on.
Yeah.
Because they could become eligible.
And then you and then you have a bunch of kids who, you can't really police that.
It's basically
right?
what was your intent? When vaccines are available to all of sixth grade, or when they have birthdays?
No, to all of that age
That's
group.
what I thought.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I thought the
So
motion
the
was.
clarification
To all of
is
six-
when
to all
vaccines
of
become
sixth
available.
grade.
to
So
sixth grade.
everybody in sixth grade is eligible.
Right, until they're all.
That would be the, well,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted a clarification, so,
Thank you.
because obviously we need to,
Or until we change our mind on
Yes.
requirements.
well, that's
Masks.
anytime.
we turn blue at some point, we're going
Right.
So what's that official motion now, Mo? Or-
Kern Lathrop, to grades 7 through 12, masks are recommended but not required. Masks are required for sixth grade until vaccine becomes eligible or until the board changes its decision.
You okay with that?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna,
I-
eligible for sixth grade students.
Highly recommended.
It's your second.
can I rescind my second?
Sure,
No, we
yeah.
have to-
I don't, I'm gonna rescind my second, somebody else is gonna have to second.
No,
No.
so you've
we
already
have to-
seconded that
Yeah,
other
okay.
motion,
We have
so
to
it goes
vote on
back
it.
to the original. I'm sorry about
Okay,
all
no,
the Robert's
I don't-
rules and stuff,
No,
but
I
that's the
don't
way it
know,
works.
I don't know what to do about that one, because,
So it's until vaccines are available to all of the kids
Okay.
in sixth grade. That's what she said.
yes, I'll go ahead with that.
Okay. So that, it's masks from seventh grade through 12th grade, sixth grade, I'm sorry. Highly recommended masks, seventh through 12th grade. Masks in sixth grade until the vaccinations are available to all of sixth grade students.
And
That's
that's
the motion.
students and staff?
She just said students, right?
Students.
I believe. I should-
A lot of motion problems tonight.
Yeah, that's so sticky. You said students, right, correct?
So would we need to make another motion for staff, or?
Well, we have to vote on it because it's been made and
Yes.
seconded, so
We're
if you
still in
don't like the
discussion.
motion, you vote no.
I was just curious, because we tied the staff into the
Other
other
one.
grades.
Yeah, well, I did that for, it
I
was
know.
all people.
Yep.
She did not type step in. So we have a motion. Is there any further discussion?
No, it's just, I'm struggling without having,
And vote no.
I
know,
am too,
just
I,
putting that out there.
even though I struggle with going against the CDC guidelines, but at least there's an option for vaccine. I'm just afraid the kids are gonna be quarantined out a lot.
But parents have spoken also, so.
By then, we will have, what, 7 days in school or 5? By the time our next meeting rolls around?
Guess we can see.
things can change.
Any further discussion? We'll reverse it this time. Bill,
No,
Christie,
No.
Angie,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes,
Barb,
No,
Julie,
Yes.
Adam, yes. I'm not even keeping track, so what does that say?
it's
I'm
4
sorry,
to
Miss, what was Julie's vote?
Yes.
I think it's 4-3 passed.
4 yeses, and no.
Okay, so that passes.
Carries.
Can I make a motion on quarantining?
That's gonna be one of the next topics, so.
There we go.
Certainly.
is that where we're at?
I'd like to make a motion that we only quarantine students across the district if they're showing symptoms of COVID-19.
Is that gonna be finite enough? Well, okay, I'll second, and then we're into discussion.
Sure, motion by Christie and a second by Bill.
Okay, I'm trying to
Discussion.
find my,
The first question is gonna be, is that finite enough so the administration can take care of it?
So they need 2 symptoms,
Are
right?
we talking close contacts? Or, I'm just trying to think of, unwrap my head all the way around this.
Yeah, not random kids. Yeah.
Because you have to implement it.
Well, randomly, we're just gonna.
You'd rather not see a school tomorrow.
I didn't
There's parents who
hear-
feel like we do that
I
anyhow.
didn't hear what
That's
you
not what I
guys
meant.
said.
But I'm just wondering if we want to,
Only
it
people-
contacts.
needs to be in the motion.
So we will discuss this until it's clear, okay?
Yeah.
Right, and that's always the best way to do it. And so currently, it's until they're showing symptoms, right? That's what you're saying?
Quarantine students, they are showing symptoms of
If they are
COVID-19, which
currently
is,
showing.
What is showing symptoms of COVID-19? How was that defined?
well, it would be the same as the definition we've had all year. I mean, I can,
So
it's
basically, is this basically saying we're not gonna do anything with close contacts?
yes, I think that's,
Would we be notifying?
Intent.
that's another question, that's a,
That's a separate point.
it's a
That's a
communi-
separate point.
Yeah.
This is about quarantining the children and keeping them home.
I would highly recommend that regardless of decisions you make, that you're notifying anybody whose child is a close contact
Yes,
of
that
COVID-19.
seems wise. Because then they get to make the choice.
Because you
of
wanna
what they do.
over-communicate that stuff
Yeah.
versus under, because people can decide to not do anything with it, or they can decide to something. But I think that's a different discussion.
Seems fair to everybody.
So only quarantining, so regardless if they've been wearing a mask or not, if they're close contact and
They're
there's
not wearing masks.
no
Or
masks.
it's highly recommended, so they're either, we're gonna have kids with masks and kids without masks.
Right, so if it's two kids without masks, and one's showing symptoms, but the other one's close contact, but it's not showing symptoms, that person doesn't have to get quarantined.
Because they're not showing symptoms.
Symptoms are, within the past 24 hours, you've had at least one of the following, above or beyond your normal: shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, cough, loss of taste or smell. Or, within the past 24 hours, you've had at least two of the following symptoms that are new or above your baseline: fever, chills, muscle aches, headaches, sore throat, fatigue, nasal congestion, a runny nose, nausea, or vomiting, diarrhea at least 2 times in 24 hours.
Right. And
So that's been the,
kids with chronic headache, that's not out of their norm, so they're not in that thing. And kids with chronic runny noses, that they're not in that thing, so.
Right.
Okay.
Would you like me to read that?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Motion McMorris would prefer to only quarantine students who are close contacts if they are showing symptoms of COVID-19.
It's not gonna work.
No, I have a problem with it, with the no
You're
masks.
welcome to vote yes
Oh,
or
no.
no, however you want. So,
I'm just-
we're in the discussion phase. Do you have discussion about it?
That
My
was
question
discussion.
is, would that be the younger grades as well as the older grades?
the motion is all students.
All students, okay.
Correct.
I couldn't hear the first part.
No.
Yeah, we're all getting tired, and make sure, thank you for making sure we articulate that.
Yeah, because when you're over here, it's very hard to hear you guys.
So we're on to quarantine. We've already decided masks. We're on to
I think
quarantine.
it's a very large
I
departure
cannot see it with a mask on if I have.
from CDC guidelines and also what we're doing currently.
What are the CDC guidelines on?
Unmasked, well, I guess it would be masked.
So when they're masked, in the lower grades,
There's no quarantining out, there's notification, right?
It would, so,
This is
so the
once they
question,
get
the question
COVID.
is about CDC guidelines. So this would match CDC guidelines for our kids who are masked. This would be a departure from CDC guidelines for kids who are unmasked.
Okay.
Because if both kids are masked and there's a COVID case, then you're only quarantining if they're showing symptoms.
Right.
Per their guidance, right? So it's a compromise, right? It kind of follows part of it, and it also takes that step somewhere else.
So CDC says when you're not masking, when kids do not have masks, then you quarantine what?
You would quarantine for up to 7 days. You get a test. You'd be quarantined for 7 days. Come back on day 8 after a test on day 6.
Even if you're not showing symptoms?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the departure. I'm trying to make that part clear.
And again, going back to your vaccine questions, or 7 through 12 are vaccinated.
Yes.
Or have the opportunity. I shouldn't say they are. They've had the opportunity. They've had plenty of opportunity at this point. I'd have to look. There may be a few 7th graders who are, but it would be very minimal number of 7th graders who wouldn't be eligible for vaccination yet.
For the sake of discussion, is the school allowed to have that information as to who is and isn't?
We would have to get that from, so the only reason we would need it at this point, right, is if we're quarantining, making quarantine decisions on vaccinations. So then we'd have to ask parents for that information. If a parent would refuse to give us that information, then we would treat it as they're not vaccinated, right? But that's obviously not this motion, it would be something else.
We need to go back to that picture again where those little people are masked and unmasked. It would help people when they're thinking about this, I think.
Let's vote, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have different grade levels, we'll have different masking.
Well,
So this is
4K
universal.
through 6 is gonna be masked,
Right.
and so we'd
They
be
should
following
be
CDC guidelines
Easy
in
to
that
do the
area.
Christie thing then.
We're modifying the guidelines for the 7 through 12. It's the, yeah, it's the one in my mind.
We can't see that, Adam.
Can't see the
I know,
line.
thanks. I think it was up towards the top.
Slide 18.
Slide 11 and 16
There
and
you go, there
17.
you are. That was it.
But you're not keeping track, sir?
Slide 12.
There. No, that's not it.
That wasn't it.
One more.
That's it, isn't it?
But we
No,
wouldn't be
it's talking about
following
the-
this.
I don't know if it was in this presentation.
With this motion,
That's not.
for
I
our
know.
7 through 12 kids, but our K through 6 are all masked.
That's
Oh,
the
it's this
one.
one.
So
No.
the quarantine would be easier for the kids that are masked.
You're right, they wouldn't have to be quarantined unless they had symptoms. You know what I'm also looking at here is high school kids, when it's highly recommended, and if they start getting sick, some of them will probably start wearing masks, even if they hadn't, because they're old enough to make that decision, obviously. And if their friends are sick and they don't wanna miss school, you know, they're gonna do what they need to do to stay healthy, they wanna be in school. We're not saying don't wear masks, we're not saying you have to wear masks for the older students.
Can we vote?
Yes, any further discussion? All in favor, sorry. So we'll go down the list. Julie,
Yes.
Barb,
No.
Terry,
Was this just for the little kids
No,
or
this
for
is
everyone?
everybody.
all students.
No.
Angie,
No.
Christie,
Yes.
Bill,
No.
Adam, yes. What does that give us? 3, 4?
Four no, 3 yeses.
4 no, 3 yeses, so that fails. Next motion. So if we don't like that type of, sorry, quarantining, what kind of quarantining would you like to try to vote on?
I like that one I'd like to make a motion that for the 4K through 6 who are wearing masks, that the quarantine only be if there's 2 kids wearing masks and one of those, and if they're not showing symptoms, they are not quarantined.
To follow the CDC guidelines.
Right.
Second.
So a motion by Terry and a second by Bill. Discussion,
So your motion is only for,
the lower
It's
grade.
the same as Christie's.
It's the same motion, it's just for
For the lower.
4K through
mask.
6,
The
did you say?
mandated mask.
4K through 6. Any further discussion?
Because we've got 6th graders masked
Any further
right
discussion?
now.
so this is literally CDC guidelines, right?
Suggestions.
Suggestion.
4K through 6?
Okay.
4K
Did
through
you
6.
say 4 through?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
Bill,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
and me, yes.
We're halfway there.
Next
We
motion,
have a few more.
quarantining 7 through 12. So we're gonna have a number of kids who have masks and a number of kids who do not have masks.
I think you have to separate it.
So stay on that picture.
I make a motion that grades 7 through 12, kids that are masked only have to quarantine if they are symptomatic. Kids that are unmasked have to do the 7-day quarantine with the return on day 8 with the test on day 6.
I'll second her motion to get a discussion. So Barb made a motion and I seconded it. Now, reality of implementing
That's
this.
gonna be very difficult for our district
Okay.
to track.
So this is
Right.
kind of a modification of CDC guidelines, right? Because CDC guidelines is if both of them are masked. But this
Yeah,
is.
that's,
Right.
hard.
It's gonna be very the point I was making is it's gonna be very difficult for our seventh and higher with the way the kids move around to
Right.
know
Right.
who was masked and who wasn't and keeping
Right.
track of that.
And someone may be
it's-
masked part of the day and not the rest of the day and, okay.
So if you have symptoms, period, you're,
I'm not, that's not the motion though.
no, I know.
But we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
So all we could do is vote it down.
Discuss.
We'll discuss and vote it down.
Any further discussion?
So what's the motion?
Yes, what is,
If you're masked, 7 through 12, you do not need to be quarantined.
That only have to quarantine if you have symptoms.
If symptoms, excuse me, yeah. And then if you're unmasked, you have to go through the regular quarantine that we were doing before.
So, it's all logistical.
It's gonna be damn near
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
for the administration to do that.
Bill,
No.
Christie, Angie,
No.
Terry,
No.
Barb,
No.
Julie,
No.
Adam, no. Okay, that was done.
I would,
Shoot.
I would recommend you go back to Christie's original
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah,
and
for
do-
everybody.
Those common sense.
You're right.
I'm just saying for the high school, you've already gone optional masking, let's go optional.
It's recommended.
Highly recommended, go to, it's just, yeah, no quarantines for now, and then we'll see how that goes, and we'll track that data,
We'll
right?
see
That'll
how it
help us
goes.
drive what's gonna happen later at the primary school. I mean, I think you have to, you have to make a different motion,
No, definitely, I just wanna,
Yeah,
but it would have to now just be 7-12.
it would
Grade
just be
7
too
to
tough.
12, quarantine is not necessary if both students are wearing masks. Is that what you wanted? No?
No.
No, she
No.
said
No,
only
or-
symptomatic kids.
Only
Only
symptomatic.
symptomatic kids.
oh, because yours was broader and then we narrowed it down to the lower
You narrowed it
grades.
just so there, yeah.
Yeah,
So do
I
you wanna make a
narrowed it.
motion for the upper grades?
I'll make a motion that,
Yeah.
before I make that, the other one was from 6 down, right?
Yes,
Okay.
so 7-12.
So I'll make a motion that for 7th through 12th graders, that we only quarantine students that are in close contact that have symptoms of COVID-19.
Second.
Okay, motion by Christie and a second by Bill. Any discussion? Fairly clear? Julie,
yes.
Barb,
No.
Terry,
Yeah.
Angie,
No.
Christie,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Adam, yes.
It's 4-3.
I'm sorry, who
5 to 2.
seconded that motion?
I did.
Thank you.
I think the vote's 4-3
It's
again.
5 to 2.
5-2?
5-2.
They carried 5 to 2.
What's next on the list?
There's another part of this,
Well, we didn't do staff yet for
right?
7, 8, we haven't done visitors.
No, but there's stuff on that summary slide, that bigger, I mean, that's stuff, but there was bigger stuff. wasn't there?
Well, yeah, we still have to talk about, it's
Yeah.
not as big, I mean, we have to talk about communication for families.
Right.
Which isn't as emotional an issue, obviously, and then testing. And part of that could be, we just follow whatever, you could have us, we haven't met with our
Right.
testing provider.
That's 2
But the idea is, like, do you want us to look at testing? I guess I don't think you probably would, but you want us to be screening everybody weekly, or do you just want us to test, provide that service that we test symptomatic kids?
I think that makes sense, just to be offering that as a
Yeah.
possible. But also then, like, if we find out from the testing company, like say we have a big outbreak and we wanna offer it to anybody who's been in the school or whatever, then like, it would be nice to know that that would be an option
Option.
for, so people don't have to go to their doctors.
Sounds like you made a motion.
Yes, I would like to make a motion that that we first explore testing options
For symptomatic.
for symptomatic students and staff. but also, look into the possibility of offering broader testing if that became
As needed.
as needed.
A second, that's it.
Motion
my-
by Angie, and
that's my
second by
motion.
Barb. Any further discussion?
So with this testing done on the kids in school, are we going to allow parents to be present?
It's always parental choice.
Yeah, we're gonna have to,
There are
parent
no
has to
choices.
give consent.
Consent, yes, but.
Well, we would
present.
talk to the, I guess that would be a conversation we would have with the parent, right? If you don't
They
feel
would.
comfortable having your child tested without you being there, because we have to get your consent first of all. If you say
I
no.
want them to have the option, is what I'm trying to say. I want
Yeah.
parents to have the option to be
For
able
sure.
to be there.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's just, part of it's
100%.
gonna be, again, we're working with a vendor, so like
Right.
knowing timing and all that stuff, like having, so a parent may say, I wanna be available, but I can't be there till 10:30, and we're like, well, testing's from,
Sure.
maybe we have it all day, but I doubt it. You
You
know, it'd be
still
like-
have the choice of going to your own doctor also.
Oh, right, you still go,
Which is really
there's still a standing at
convenience.
UW, or I'm sorry, at,
It's more of a
Clinic.
convenience.
Yep,
so.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we go down again? No, okay, good.
No, we're still in the picture.
Did somebody second it?
Yes, it was motion made and seconded. Who seconded?
I did.
Barb. It's getting a long night. Any other discussion? Bill?
I'm sorry, read it back.
Motion Lathrop Fire to explore testing options for symptomatic student, to offer for symptomatic students and staff, and look into offering testing to others.
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
And Adam says yes.
Communication to families on positive COVID cases, you want us to communicate that?
I will make a motion to make this go faster, that we only notify families of students who have COVID and those close contacts.
Second.
I had a question about,
Discussion.
sorry,
Yeah.
yes. I had a question about like a COVID overall dashboard, like, like how many cases do we have active in the district right now, or in each building, or like, you know,
We would still do that, I think.
yeah.
yeah.
I
We
mean, it
did
just
that
seems
last year.
like that's important to
Because
know.
you can go look at that if you want, but it's
Right.
not given to you.
Right, so we're really, the motion is really talking about specific outgoing communication.
Yeah, so.
But if I wanted to look and see what's happening in the district right now, or in the buildings, then that would be,
So last year, I wrote an email every single time, or I wrote a letter and sent a letter out every single time we had a case and to everybody in the district. So this motion says we're just gonna communicate to those with COVID, yeah, and those who have close contact. And then we will continue to have a COVID dashboard.
And is that on Infinite Campus for parents?
That's on the website, we had a COVID.
That's
so we just
special.
had it on our website.
well, and I'm sure if there's a large number of cases, you would then,
Right, so this is not, I mean, this is, again, general guidance.
Yes.
Obviously, if there's something that I feel, I would probably touch base with Adam, but if there's something I feel like everybody needs to know, right, we would wanna get that out to
Yes.
people. Like, hey, we've had, like, and maybe not specific, but we've had 8 cases in 3 classrooms at the elementary school, I just wanna make you aware, let's, wash your
Closing
hands.
down the high school because 30% of the kids have COVID, whatever it is,
Well,
right?
that one is yeah, I'm
That's a-
talking more of a small, like,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
yes. Any further discussion? Julie?
Yes.
Barb? Terry?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Christie?
This is for the.
Yeah, go ahead, you can clarify, say it again.
Sorry, it is, only notify families that have COVID and close contact.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and Adam, yes. What else do we have?
Visitors and
Yeah.
staff, 7/12, 6/12.
So if masks are highly recommended 7 through 12, then they can mask if they want or not mask. It's not as big a deal. It's probably gonna be a bigger deal in the lower grades, I'm assuming.
So
We already
staff,
voted
we
on
already
the
covered.
answers.
At the lower grade, we have
I'm
not
talking- you're
covered.
talking visitors.
Oh, visitors, I'm sorry. Yep.
Oh, we have to do both still, staff.
I understand, but we're talking about visitors, and so visitors in the high school or 7th grade on up, it's mask recommended, so they can mask or not mask and be no different than the students.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be as big an issue.
I would suggest you just follow what's going on in the building, it's
students.
much easier.
And so in the lower grade, so if someone wants to make that motion to follow whatever the students are doing.
In the lower grades, it's covered, all the people in.
We're talking
Yeah.
visitors.
Visitors.
I'll make a motion that visitors to the buildings have to follow whatever procedures are in place for students for that building and masking. That was a really weird way to word it,
Second.
but
Motion.
you know what I meant.
I thought I covered that.
Motion by Barb and a second by Bill.
Visitors, we did staff.
All the people, I remember I said all the
Okay,
people.
we're clarifying, sorry.
So you just do visitor, because you everybody, so you can't do staff in there, because we already have staff at that forecast. So the question was, it includes staff, it's just visitors at this time,
We're just talking about visitors.
because we already did staff 4K
Lower
through
grades.
6,
Right.
so,
Now
or
we're
sort of
on
through
visitors.
5, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Any further discussion? I don't remember which way I went before. Bill?
Back to discussion, when I made the motion for
Let it go.
4K through,
Let's just get through the night.
5.
I know, just let's
I
get through
said
the
all the
night.
people.
Let's just get through the night.
Yes.
Thank you. Christie? No? Angie?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Adam, yes. You still need something for staff, 7 through 12? We'll make a motion that staff follow the students, grades 7 through 12 also. So highly recommended is what we have.
Second.
Wait, we didn't do sixth grade though,
Six.
because
You're
we only did
correct.
4K through 5th grade.
Well, so we're doing, we're
Correct,
doing 7 to 12.
so if you want to amend your motion
will
to
amend my
include
motion
6, if both of you will do
To
that.
include 6th grade, so what even was my motion? That staff follow what the students are doing, and so 6th grade through 12, staff.
Christie already seconded.
Yeah, so you have to
Yes,
ask Chris
so
if
you
she'll
have
amend
to
it.
ask.
Okay, so, yes. I
Okay.
decided.
So that's the motion.
So 6th grade staff would have to wear masks.
Yes, 7th and 8 and up would not. Or highly recommended.
Highly recommended. Anybody always can. They want to.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Angie? Christie? Bill?
Yes.
And Adam, yes. Anything else you need?
I think that's
We got it all?
good. Do you guys think anything else? What was that?
Health screeners, is that in?
No.
We're not doing the health screening.
I don't think we're on the health screen.
So agenda item number 2.
Thank you all. Sorry, it's nervous laughter. We're not having any fun either.
Thank you, everybody, for
Yes.
working your way through all that.
Hang in there.
It was hard.
It's time to lose the constant.
Take a breath.
Middle school faculty handbook.
Middle school faculty
Yeah,
handbook.
so the middle school faculty handbook, we did all the other faculty handbooks early in the year, but Mr. Prozic wisely wanted to allow Mr. Pertzborn to have a chance to look it over prior to finalizing it, so Mr. Pertzborn has done that, and I would recommend that we approve the middle school handbook as presented.
Make a motion to approve middle school faculty handbook as presented.
Second.
Motion by Barb, second by Bill.
It was a good read.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 7-0. C.G. Schmidt, master planning proposal.
The Facility Finance Committee discussed it last week. It's a good proposal. I make a motion that we accept the proposal as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Bill and a second by Barb. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 7-0. School perceptions survey.
The Facility Finance Committee looked at it last week. It was a good proposal that we're gonna need to prepare for the referendum. Make the motion to accept it as presented.
Motion by Bill and a second by Barb. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 7-0. Strategic plan scorecard development. Really, you could probably say the exact same thing you just said for the last two.
I make the motion that we accept the strategic plan scorecard development.
Second.
And district
District
cascade of the
Cascade, sorry.
strategic plan.
I lost my place. Sorry.
Finish it.
what she said.
Amend your motion, so it's fine.
To approve the proposal, quit wiggling it, timeline and cost for the engaging the BSEC for the scorecard development for the district cascade of the strategic plan.
Which will put the strategic plan into motion.
I second.
Okay, motion by Bill and a second by Barb. Any further discussion? Scott.
Oh, that's cute. Somebody's wanting to say their piece.
Thank you for the steward interruption. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes. Mowing contract renewal.
I'd like to table that until facility finance has a chance to review it in September.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bill and a second by Julie to table. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 7-0 as a table. There are no first policy reads. Second policy readings. We read these last month, and now they're back up for the second time.
Yeah, they all passed through the policy committee unanimously.
And the finance.
I will make a motion to approve the CAPP policy, the assistive technology policy, and the foster care children's policy as presented. That's policy number 343.43, 363.3, and 411.4.
I'll second.
Motion by myself and then second by Barb. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 7-0. There are no gifts tonight or donations. Administrative reports. First, we have the high school.
Thanks, Al.
Yes. Hi.
Couldn't wait.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Yes, I can criticize for the length of these. I'll keep it short and sweet. So,
Because we have read on it.
I know you have. For those of the people that are not here, usually I get criticized for the length of these. Summer, we had our leadership retreat to Devil's Lake. It was a great opportunity for kids to get back. I wanted to just quickly appreciate some people that were able to go and chaperone. So Amy Jelinek, JP Fossbender, who are our former Leadership Council advisors, plus our new ones, Mason Kittleson and Jim McKellar. Really appreciate all the time and effort they put into that to bring 59 of our students out to Devil's Lake. I did have an opportunity to talk to some of the students and ask them what are they worried about high school, what are they excited about, and then some of the questions that they had. And a lot of that was, some of that was related to COVID, related topics, but it was also, some of their comments just had to do with being in high school and what that was like. So, great trip. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I know Vince mentioned this at the last meeting, we do have a state championship track team, boys track team, which I was very excited about. And that's the first in school history, and you can read about it. I do mention some of our new staff members, Leo Olson, Maya Ashbeck, Andrew Close, and also Emily Skelton. And you can read about their bios. They sent some information to me about where they come from and how they're very excited about joining our staff. Also, I mentioned a little bit about Link Crew. Link Crew started, we did a Link Crew activities last year, even during our pandemic, but our freshmen will be coming on that first day, and our Link Crew leaders will get them accustomed to high school. It's a great program that's been going for a lot of years. FFA, they did have an in-person convention this year, state convention, and there were some awards. Brooke Meinholtz received an award. Haley Richardson, former seniors, received an award. And that's all I'm going to say today.
So I do have one question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
2018, we came second in track, right? Boys team?
Yes.
And why did that happen?
Okay, so 2018, in fact, I just sent something to our social media a few days ago. There was a picture of Rice Lake, who got first place at state, and we got second. Well, there's a reason why we got second place, is because there was a silver medalist in the 200 that ran against us. His name was Kenny Bednarik. So you've probably heard of Kenny Bednarik. He got the silver medal in the 200-meter run, and everything that he ran, he won. So I think he got like 40 points then. So we were second behind Kenny Bednarik and Rice Lake. So there's a picture on
Who just
social
got a-
media.
Who just got a silver medal at Tokyo Olympics
Yes.
in the two-wheeler.
Yes.
So it would have been very difficult to displace
Yeah,
them, is what you're saying.
so it's just like one of those times, it's just who you run, it's all,
Yeah.
it's like some of us
It's
running
so
against our,
In
one of our.
2018, he was running in high school.
He was in high
And then he was
school.
at the Olympics.
Now he's at the
Now he's a
Olympics.
silver medalist in the
Yes.
200 meter.
Well,
Yeah, I was watching him run, I'm like, hey, I know who that kid is.
I wish I would have gotten his autograph.
He wasn't quite as far ahead as he was in the state track meet.
Oh, it was like him running against middle schoolers, it felt like, so.
Yeah, it was
Anyways.
amazing.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
report. Can I make a clarification on a general note? Because I want to make sure that everyone understands, all the decisions we made on going back to school will be reiterated through an email
Yeah,
through Infinite Campus
send something up.
with all the stuff so that it'll all be clear in case that was confusing. Because I know it was confusing and I apologize, it's the way it works. Parliamentary procedure. But it will all be clear in an email. Just want to make that clear. Sorry. Curriculum.
There's a number of items on there. I highlighted the professional, or the pre-session document, which is our new teacher orientation, and then, our back-to-school days for our educators. But the one I'll spend the most time on is just the virtual options, and I'll reiterate again. So we are working with two companies, Wisconsin eSchool Network, who we have worked with in the past, and Apex Learning, to provide online content, virtual content to families that choose the virtual option. Again, according to our survey results, we had very few families that chose a virtual option, but this will look very different from what it has in the past. It will require substantial guardian support. And I would just say that for the admin team, we believe, the in-person format is the best option for positive academic and social emotional outcomes for students. So again, what it would look like is, we will be sending a notification out to families again, outlining kind of this option. They will get in contact with me, I will kind of walk them through exactly what it is, and they would make their way through that content in a given week. We would have an educator who would be checking the progress of that content, providing feedback, and also doing a Google Meet with them to check in each week as well. So that is what our virtual option looks like with the resources that we have that we are able to support at this time.
So because we think that will be an issue with the decisions that we made, can that be part of that email?
It will be, there will be a follow-up email after this one goes out. Dr. Carlos has already been working on an email that we would send out. We knew regardless of what
Yes.
decisions were made, that we would have to reach out to families and have them contact him.
Okay, perfect. Lcad.
So, Brian Bilsey is the new Lcad project coordinator. Brian currently lives in Middleton but grew up on a dairy farm near Barneville. He spent 18 years in law enforcement, most recently with the Iowa County Sheriff's Office. During his career, he enjoyed working with youth in Iowa County schools as part of the DARE program. Brian looks forward to working with the school students and staff in the Lodi High School and system. And we got to meet him at the National Night Out, and it was good. Fit right in there, getting everything done. National Night Out will be taking place, it did, from 5 to 8 p.m. It was last Tuesday on August 3rd. The location was changed this year, and it seemed to do very well. People enjoyed being in the park. We will report back in September on how well the event was attended and other highlights. Lcad is interested in starting to do a tobacco and alcohol compliance check starting in the fall. So what that means is they're looking for young people aged 17 to 20, and they get paid, and they help with the project. And so what they basically do is they go in and ask for alcohol. They're not old enough. So Lcad will be partnering with the high school and assisting with High School Leadership Council Summer Retreat. Lcad will be providing food, games, and staffing.
Just a clarification, Terry, students typically don't do that in their home district. So if somebody signs up to do that,
Yes.
they go to other
Right,
districts, so
right,
you're not
yeah.
in your home district.
Where you're not known.
So they don't know who you
don't,
are.
yeah.
Yep.
Student services.
Yes, I have 3 items on the report. The first is about the self-assessment that Lodi is going through this school year. We had administrators, teachers, specialists, and a parent representative kind of began this process in late July. we'll be following the steps laid out by the DPI that I added in the report there. And if you want some more information, there's a little overview on that. The second piece is about the responsive classroom training that took place last week. So we had 9 educators from our primary and elementary school in a 4-day training here at district office that focused on community building, effective classroom management, and providing safe and joyful and engaging classrooms for our students. The final piece there is the mental health first aid training. This is a training that I did. I felt it was important for me to have this training. This is something that Tiffany Loken had in the past, so I felt it was important for me to have that training. The purpose of the mental health first aid training is to be able to recognize the patterns of thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and appearance that show there might be a mental health challenge within a student.
Thank you. Primary school.
Amy is not here today. She had, she was excused from today's meeting.
Okay. We have a report. Elementary school, OSC.
Just quickly, so we've developed our schedule, our master schedule, has some of the blocks that we've identified before around math, literacy, writing. The special schedule has gone out to staff. We did units of study writing training, and we got several staff that have been trained over the last 3 years, either in New York City or virtually, together, and we're working on our continued implementation. It was very clear how much COVID had an impact and like how it put a pause on things. It also was pretty amazing to see the amount of growth that we made in those 3 years, even with that pause, so that was cool. And then there's just some pictures of summer school and a hiring update, and summer school is great to have kids back in person.
Yeah. Thank you. Middle school.
First of all, hello everybody. I'm Derek Pertzborn. I'm the new principal in the middle school. This is my first board meeting actually, so
Welcome.
This is one of our shorter ones.
What's that?
This is one of our shorter ones.
So from the board reports, you can see I have new staff: Carrie Barr, Sienna Calwerts, Amy Throon, Sarah Weber, who's literally driving across the country right now to Wisconsin, and Hallie Ziegler. So this summer, my transition, one of the things I wanted to do and put a priority on is building relationships with staff as much as I can. So what I did is I invited all staff members within the middle school to come in to sit down for a 20-minute meeting and to kind of get to know the middle school from their lens and some areas that they see as strengths and things that they value, and also things that they see as areas that we have opportunities to grow. So as of this report, I met with 34. I met with a couple more staff members this week, and I think it's the vast majority. I know my check marks are getting to nearly all of them, and those meetings have been awesome. But one thing that really shines through is just their dedication to kids, and specifically just building connections and supporting students in everything they do. We are transitioning, not only am I a transition, we have a new schedule we're transitioning to, and this is the work really of Joe Prosek and some other administrators moving forward into this year that I've inherited. I have been working with staff this summer to try to put some details in place and some structures in place to support our students. Specifically, the schedule change has really 2 reasons. None is necessarily number 1 or 2, but the biggest, well, then I say the biggest. No, one of the reasons for the schedule change is to add more math minutes. Our data shows that we could use some more math minutes. And then in addition to that, we're trying to add some time where we can support our students that really need it and just have some targeted interventions for students that really need it. And then again, we've been meeting with staff and trying to work through that process. I'm going to talk more detail at the curriculum meeting on the 13th on that. No, 18th? 18th, something like that, okay. And then we have 3 retirees, and I don't know if these people were honored before when Joe Prosek was here, but I just wanted to honor Carl Nordstrom, Patty Nelson, and Lucinda Rainey for their work in our district.
Thank you. Joe, one thing you did in your report in the high school, you had the new teachers do like a paragraph about themselves. I just thought that was phenomenal, because it was them speaking, not you speaking, right? And not that we don't want to hear you speak, but it was from them. It was from them. I just thought that was really great. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Do you have anything more to add, District Administrator?
The district WASB elections are coming up. I'm sure WASB consultant will talk about that.
Got that right here.
All right. And I know Nick touched on new staff orientation is next Wednesday. We do have a bank luncheon, so we really appreciate Associated Bank, who puts on a bank luncheon for all of our new staff
Oh, bank
every year.
luncheon. I thought you said election. I was like,
Luncheon.
Luncheon, thank you.
And we also have, we have a special tour of the district being given by Mr. Charles Purcell. He's going to
Wow.
be coming back and riding a school bus and giving the tour for our new staff. So we're trying to give them the opportunity, because he did it a couple years ago and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, he is.
The history he has. So, and then all our other staff, our returning staff breakfast is August 26th. It actually is on Thursday instead of Wednesday. That Wednesday morning, when we have all staff returning, there's some training for our primary school staff with Jan Richardson on literacy and our guided reading. And so we are going to have an all-staff breakfast the second day staff comes back. So it'll be that Thursday morning, and I'll have information in the weekly notes this week about that.
That was the 26th, Thursday the 26th.
Yeah, Thursday the
Dates are
26th.
in here.
They are, yeah, they're not in the calendar.
And then I just want to finally say thanks to our building, we're coming back to school, our buildings look phenomenal, thanks to our cleaning crew over the summer, the rival and our maintenance department, and then our cleaning crew done a great job. And then obviously we are starting to gear up towards looking at a referendum.
Yes.
Next spring, because this is the last year of our operating referendum, so some of the things you approved tonight and approved in the last board meeting are the planning pieces for that. We'll be getting more and more information on that as we go forward.
And then I'm a board president. I did not write up a formal thing because I knew it was gonna be a long night, and I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for doing this tonight and parsing through each piece, even though it's not your expertise. It's sort of it is your expertise,
Right,
sort
there
of
was
your
a lot to
expertise.
parcel through.
But it was not a difficult, or it was a very difficult thing to go through tonight, and thank you for taking each piece and looking at it carefully and going through it. Do you have something?
Question, just
Yeah.
a question, comment?
Yeah.
We didn't vote on anything for the district office.
We did not.
And, because don't we have the, students in the back here?
You do, you have transition students,
Yeah,
and
you
we would
have
just
the
follow the,
transition.
I would
High
say,
school.
the high school
So just,
model.
I don't know, yeah. We kind of
I
forgot
would fall
about this
back on
building.
admin recommendations.
Yeah.
So you're okay with they follow the high school? And staff is highly recommended.
It's transition, right, it's transition, so even, it's older level than our typical, I'd say our high school are older, so our students back here and staff will follow the high school model, that's
Okay.
what I would assume.
Okay. Is that okay?
No, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because you're asking for clarification, that's the clarification.
okay. Okay.
Reports and information, CISA 5.
It's 5. I just had a meeting with 5. Didn't have a lot going on in that meeting. We had that building that was sold. CISA is doing a number of surveys for us, and in fact, he said that, so it's helpful to know what other school districts are paying, what kind of leave they have, all kinds of employee kind of things, but also, often, I'm not sure if he's doing so much related to the pandemic, but he said that in addition to the information from this CISA district, he had all the other CISAs join, so it'll be from all over the state. So that will be coming soon, right?
Is that a meeting that you'll be going to then?
So he was just talking about it at the meeting, so it's surveying the districts and asking them about a lot of things that are really helpful, because you're like, oh, well, what are other districts doing about this particular thing? And so it's great when the CISA, a neutral party collects that data. People can, districts voluntarily doing that to help each other out, so.
What's next on that list, because I clicked away?
Co-curricular
Co-curricular report.
items.
Thank you, none.
None.
Oh, okay.
Next on that list.
OSC.
We
OSC.
didn't meet in July, we have our annual retreat Wednesday from 8 to 3 at OSC.
And board committee reports, contract review, we did not meet in July. Curriculum,
Did not meet either.
facility finance,
We
We
met
met last week, and most of the stuff that we took care of has already been approved tonight.
okay.
and then we talked about referendum and budgets for the other two things.
And I'm back now. Policy.
We didn't meet.
Didn't meet, okay.
Alright,
agenda items.
September 13th. Make sure that's circled on your calendar.
Well, yeah. We do not need to go back into closed session, so would someone make a
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
motion by Angie and a second by Julie? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
Joe, in your report,